Welcome back, everyone. We have just about reached the midpoint of our CS22 course. And exactly at the midpoint of our course in week 8 is the midterm exam. So what do you have to know? Well, the first thing to know is this. As you can see here, the midterm exam is going to be in two parts. Part 1 and Part 2. Here's a little bit more information about it. What you're looking at is a PDF file whose name is CS22 Midterm Exam Good to Know, or CS22, Midterm Exam Week 16 Week Good to Know. The file I'm showing you is right here in the top level files area of Canvas. So you can download this file that I'm about to show you. Here's what the file says. The midterm exam for CS22 will have two parts and will cover all the material in the course from week 1 through week 7. So all material in weeks 1 through 7 will be on the midterm exam. Part 1 of the midterm exam will have 36 questions. Those questions can be in any of these formats: multiple choice, true or false, drop-down menu, or fill in the blank. They're going to be very similar to the quizzes that you've taken to this point. No resources are allowed on Part 1 of the midterm exam, which is closed book, closed notes, closed PowerPoint, closed development tool like PyCharm, and closed internet except Canvas. And here's something very important. Part 1 of the midterm will be available from Sunday of week 8 until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday of week 8. So part 1 of the midterm will not be available during the entire week 8. It will only be available from Sunday of week 8 until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday of week 8. That means after 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday of week 8, you will not be allowed to access part 1 of the midterm exam. Also, once you begin part 1, you will have 2 hours to complete it. It will be timed. Now, part 2 of the midterm will have 3 programming questions. Now, the sheet says for these questions, you'll download a .py file and a .txt file. Actually, some questions you may not have to download a .txt file. However, all questions will require you to download a .py file directly from the question. You will then complete code for the main function and 1 or 2 other functions in the .py file. Here's how it's going to work. When you download that .py file for each question, you will move it to the project folder that you'll have created in PyCharm. So the first thing you need to do for part 2 of the midterm is to create a project in PyCharm. And then each time you download a .py file from a question, you will move that .py file into your project folder. When you look at the .py file in PyCharm, you'll notice it will have a lot of comments in there. Those comments will be your instructions for how to do the question. You will be given some code, but you will have to complete the code for the entire program. Please follow those directions, which are the comments in the file, and do not delete the comments. Keep the comments in the file, please. Now it says, when you have finished a program, you will submit the .py file. That means when you get your program to work for a question, you will upload the .py file from PyCharm into the question in Canvas. You will never be asked to upload a .txt file. You will only upload the .py files. Unlike part one, on part two, you are allowed to use the book, the PowerPoint slides, and any previous assignments to do part two. That means you can look at past homework assignments and past projects that you've done to this point. However, part two is still closed internet except for Canvas. Furthermore, part two will be available from Wednesday of week 8 of the course until 11:59 p.m. on Saturday of week 8. So part two will also not be available for all of week 8. It will become available on Wednesday of week 8 and will remain available until 11:59 p.m. of Saturday of week 8. That means after 11:59 p.m. on Saturday of week 8, you will not be allowed to access part two of the midterm exam. Also, once you begin part two, you will have 2 hours to complete it. Now, as far as the subjects you need to know, for part one of the midterm, since part one is the same as the quizzes, you should look at the quiz review sheets, which are in the files area of Canvas in the quiz reviews folder. That will prepare you for part one. For part two of the midterm, even though it is open book and open note and open PowerPoints and open past assignments, you should be familiar with the following topics. Let's review them. How to open a file for reading. How to use the with statement when opening a file. I believe I referred you to certain PowerPoint slides in the Gaddis folder as to how to use the with statement. Might want to look at those again. How to access data in a file using either a for loop or a while loop. Furthermore, how to create a class and create objects of that class in Python. Also know how one class can inherit another class. Getting back to files, you should know how to remove the \n character from any data that is read from a file. Now know the following regarding stacks and queues using linked lists. Let me just say right now, we learned about stacks and queues using both lists, like arrays, and using linked lists. On the midterm exam, however, we will only use linked lists to do stacks and queues. And given that, you should know the following: how to properly add and remove a node from either a stack or a queue. You should also know how to display the values of nodes beginning at the head or at the tail. And then finally, know the following regarding singularly linked lists. Now, when I say singularly linked lists, what I mean is just an ordinary linked list that's not considered a stack or a queue. Just build a list, one node after another. For that, you need to know these: how to add a new node to the end of the list, and finally, how to print all the data fields in the list. In other words, how to traverse the list one node to the next and display each node's value when you reach it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything you need to know for this midterm exam. As always, if you have any questions, please send me an email at kmuldrow@lbcc.edu.